You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
I told you, man! I told you! Don't fuck with me!
Who controls the past controls the future. And who controls the present controls the past. George Orwell.
Now some people running along the dikes. Roger. Good job. I saw you splatter one right in the back with a rocket. Roger, got lucky again.
When carrying out attacks on other nations, destroying their infrastructure, and deforming their future generations with the use of nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons, the imperialist needs to rewrite history and keep repeating it over and over until it becomes true.
Young lady with the red hair right behind the school teacher there.
Mr. President, why did you drop the atom bomb?
Mr. President, the future wants to know, was it right to drop the atom bomb?
I made the only decision I ever knew how to make. I did what I thought was right.
Throughout the years of negotiations, we have insisted on peace with honor. Let us be proud of the young Americans who served with honor and distinction.
Today.
And the case is built.
See, in my line of work, you got to keep repeating things over and over and over again for the truth to sink in, to kind of catapult the propaganda. George W. Bush. Repeat over and over that the Nazis killed 6 million Jews in World War II, and the Jews will enjoy endless sympathy, despite Israel continuing to commit many of the same crimes as the Nazis. But if you keep silent about the 26 million Russians killed by the Nazis in World War II, then Russian suffering becomes invisible. Let us see now how this has been applied throughout history. Every year, America celebrates the progress of Western civilization with a propaganda campaign known as Columbus Day. 500 years ago, Christopher Columbus set off to claim new riches for the Catholic Church. Arriving on a lush Hispaniola in 1492, he spoke of the 3 million Taino Indians who came out to greet them as the friendliest, kindest people in the world. He then systematically enslaved, raped, and killed them at such a rate that by 1555, every single one of them was dead.
Christopher
Columbus not only opened the door to a new world, but also set an example for us all by showing what monumental feats can be accomplished through perseverance and faith. George H.W. Bush. Such perseverance and faith was the basis of Manifest Destiny, in which the American government decided that God wanted white Christians to take over the continent. Their God clearly didn't like the 100 million Native Americans who lived in harmony with nature, as 99% of them were systematically murdered. This fact is now celebrated with a propaganda campaign called Thanksgiving Day. Only nobody speaks of land theft, genocide, or destruction of culture. Nobody questions the propaganda films depicting Native Americans as vile savages, trying to stop God's civilized white settlers from making a home.
사람들은
They're too busy
먹고
eating and celebrating,
얼마 남지 않은
unaware that the few remaining Native Americans hold a national day of mourning on the same day as a protest against this invasion.
아이러니컬하게도 미국인들은
Ironically, the
침략자들에 대한
Americans also have a day for celebrating their victory over invaders.
독립기념일은 모든 사람은 동등한 권리가
Independence Day is a celebration of the Declaration of Independence, which was created by intellectual men
미국 건국의
whose visions were similar to the superior ideals of Juche.
선포를 축하하는 날이다. 종교나 제국의 힘으로부터
Their vision
탄압받지
for a
않는
glorious nation of equal and happy citizens who were not oppressed by the forces of religion and empire
엄청난 인민의
now
고통과
lies in pieces,
환경 파괴를
crushed beneath the uncontrolled drive for profits that have led to enormous human suffering and environmental destruction.
조각이 나 버렸다. 하지만
But America is not the only perpetrator of crimes against humanity and the planet.
인도의 점령과 중국으로부터 아편
Imperialism is in
전쟁을
the heart of
발간시킨
the British, occupying India and running opium wars out of China.
제국주의는 사악한
It twitches in the
일본인들의
spine of the
뱃속에서도
wicked
꿈틀거렸다.
Japanese, the
프랑스인들이
French in every
제국주의죠.
continent,
제2차
and the
세계대전
World Bank
이후
and IMF
세계은행과
in
IMF 의
every poor
모든
country
국민의
since World War
진출.
II.
이 모든 것들은
All have
정복과
committed grave
무력
crimes
치료를 위한
against
가정에서
humanity
일어났으며
in
인간성에
their
대한
search to
중대
conquer,
범죄를
steal,
저질렀다.
and erase memories with their lies.
그 기억들을 지워버렸다. (1788년) 어느 날을 축하하는
Lies like Australia Day,
거짓으로 점철된
a celebration of the day in 1788 when Australians, who were merely geographically displaced European criminals deemed unworthy of being on British soil, were sent off to settle as far away as possible.
하고 자기네 나라에서
These
쫓겨났다.
low-grade humans call Australia the lucky country.
행운의 나라라고 불렀다. 하지만 그들의
But
도착은
their arrival was not so lucky for the Aborigines, who had been there for 40,000 years.
지구상에 출현한 가장 오래된 인류인 그들에게
For them, the oldest human presence on Earth, the lucky country is a propaganda phrase used to cover up Australia's most enduring taboo,
인종
genocide.
말이다. 호주 백인들은
White Australians don't like that word. They admit to words like
진압.
pacifying,
살인,
killing,
청소,
cleansing,
추방,
excluding,
멸종,
exterminating,
음독,
poisoning,
사격,
shooting,
기아라는
and
단어는
starving.
인정한다. 인종 말살이란 말은
Anything
빼고 말이다.
but genocide.
진실만은
Anything
제외하고 말이다.
but the truth.
오스트레일리아라고 하는
Look
영화를
at this film called Australia.
이 영화는
It was made with large tax breaks by the Australian white government to advertise Australia as the lucky country.
이 영화는 이곳에서
It
아직도
used an
인종
Aboriginal
말살이
child
이루어지고 있다는
to
것과
distract people from the ongoing genocide
영국과
there,
미국 주인님들에 의해 핵
and the fact that Australia is now a dumping ground for nuclear waste by its British and American masters.
어린이를 이용하였다. 악랄한 과거를 인정하지 않으려고 하는 또 다른 나라는
Another country that refuses to acknowledge its psychopathic past is Japan.
은폐하려고 하는 실패한 제국 일본이라고 할 수 있다.
A failed empire that tries to cover up all of its vile and putrid atrocities.
그것을 가차없이 도륙을 내버린다. 일본인들은 심지어
While the world cares for threatened species, the Japanese butcher them
돌변하여 죽이는 것을
relentlessly.
즐기기까지 한다.
The Japanese even enjoy luring dolphins into harbors and murdering them in a rage. This barely disguised need to mutilate life is no surprise to us in Korea.
하지만 이 부분에 대해서는 잠시
But
후
we will
다시
come to this
언급하도록
shortly.
하겠다. 우선 프로파간다가
First, let's examine how propaganda was turned into such an effective weapon by the West.
먼저 살펴보기로 하자.